In the small village of Novoye, hidden between forests and frozen fields, two brothers grew up under the same roof, slept in the same room, and dreamed the same dreams. Their names were Ivan and Mikhail Volkov. Ivan was the older one, strong, silent, responsible. He learned early that life was not fair and someone had to carry the weight. Mikhail was different, curious, emotional, restless. He asked questions about everything, about the world, about justice, about why people suffered. Their father, Sergei Volkov, had fought in the First World War. He rarely spoke about it, but when he did, his voice became cold. "War does not create heroes," he once said. "It only creates graves." Their mother, Anna, worked in the village hospital. She saw wounded soldiers every week. She prayed that her sons would never wear a uniform. But history had other plans. Childhood bonds. Ivan and Mikhail were inseparable. They hunted together. They studied together. They protected each other. When village boys bullied Mikhail for being weak, Ivan stood in front of him. When Ivan was punished by teachers, Mikhail waited for him outside. They promised each other something when they were young. No matter what happens, we stay brothers. At that time, it sounded eternal. They didn't know how fragile promises become in wartime. The world begins to change. In 1939, rumors reached their village. Germany, Poland, invasions, mobilization. Radios spoke of borders and armies, but to the Volkov brothers, war still felt distant until 1941. June 22nd, 1941. That morning, the sky was clear. Birds sang. Farmers worked. Then the radio screamed, "Germany has attacked the Soviet Union." The Great Patriotic War had begun. Within weeks, recruitment officers arrived. Posters covered walls. "Your motherland needs you." Young men lined up, some proud, some afraid, some pretending not to be afraid. Ivan joined first. He didn't hesitate. "I must protect our family," he said. Mikhail followed later, not because he wanted to fight, but because he couldn't live knowing Ivan was alone at the front. A silent divide. Before leaving, their father gave him his old medal. "Return alive," he whispered. Their mother cried without sound. At the train station, thousands gathered. Smoke, noise, tears. Ivan hugged Mikhail tightly. "No matter where they send us, we will find each other after the war." Mikhail nodded. But inside, fear grew, because something was already changing. Ivan began to think like a soldier. Mikhail still thought like a human. One believed in duty, the other believed in conscience. They didn't know it yet, but that difference would soon tear them apart. As the train disappeared into the distance, Anna fell to her knees. Two sons, one war, and a fate that would force them onto opposite sides. The train that carried Ivan and Mikhail eastward was overcrowded. Hundreds of young men stood pressed together like cattle. No space, no privacy, no comfort. Only fear hidden behind forced jokes. For 3 days, they traveled without knowing where they were going. When the train finally stopped, an officer shouted, "Out! Quickly!" They jumped onto muddy ground, somewhere near Smolensk, near the front, too near. Becoming soldiers. Training was rushed. 2 weeks, sometimes less. They learned how to shoot, how to crawl, how to obey. They did not learn how to survive. Ivan adapted quickly. He followed orders, he endured pain, he stopped asking questions. Mikhail struggled. He hesitated, he doubted, he noticed dead bodies too much. At night, he whispered to Ivan, "Do you think we'll come back?" Ivan never answered, because he didn't know. First battle. In September 1941, their unit was sent forward. German tanks were advancing. Planes filled the sky. The ground shook. Explosions tore men apart. For the first time, Mikhail saw someone die. A boy from their village, hit in the head. Instantly. No scream, no goodbye. Just gone. Mikhail vomited. Ivan dragged in behind a broken wall. "Stay low!" he shouted. Bullets flew like rain. Smoke blinded everything. They lost sight of each other. Chaos. Orders disappeared. Officers were killed. Radio lines were destroyed. Men ran in every direction. Some forward, some backward, some nowhere. Ivan tried to find Mikhail. He screamed his name. No answer. Then an explosion threw him into a trench. When he woke up, night had fallen. Silence replaced hell. Bodies lay everywhere, some still breathing, most not. Mikhail was gone. Captured. Mikhail had been separated during the bombing. He wandered for hours, lost, hungry, terrified. At dawn, German soldiers surrounded him, rifles aimed, dogs barking. He raised his hands. He didn't fight. He couldn't. Within days, he was in a prisoner camp. No food, no medicine, no mercy. Men died every morning. Guards didn't care. To them, prisoners were already dead. A choice without choice. Weeks passed. Mikhail became weak. His ribs showed. His eyes sunk. One winter morning, a German officer arrived. He spoke Russian. "With us you live," he said. "Against us you die here." They offered food, warm clothes, protection. In exchange, cooperation. Some prisoners refused. They were shot. Others accepted. They survived. Mikhail waited, watched, listened. Hunger won. Fear won. He signed. Meanwhile, Ivan. He was declared missing, then reassigned, then promoted. He became a sergeant. He fought harder, angrier. He believed Mikhail was dead, and that belief made him dangerous. Every battle became personal. Every enemy became guilty. He swore, "I will kill them all." He didn't know one of them was his brother. Two brothers, one wearing a Soviet uniform, one wearing a German badge, both believing they had no choice. Both walking toward the same battlefield. Winter 1942 arrived without mercy. Snow buried bodies, froze weapons, silenced screams. Near the ruins of a destroyed village outside Kharkov, two armies prepared for another meaningless clash. Neither side expected mercy. Neither side planned to retreat. Only survival mattered. Ivan's unit. Sergeant Ivan Volkov crouched in a frozen trench. His beard was covered in ice. His hands trembled, not from fear, but from exhausting. He had lost 12 men in 3 weeks. 12. Friends. Brothers. Names he still remembered. Every loss carved something out of him. He no longer dreamed. He no longer prayed. He only waited. For orders. For enemies. For revenge. Mikhail's position. On the other side, inside a half-burned farmhouse, Mikito loaded his rifle. German insignia on his sleeve. Russian blood in his veins. Shame in his heart. He avoided mirrors. He avoided thinking. He avoided remembering Ivan, because remembering hurt more than hunger ever did. Around him, German officers shouted commands. He obeyed. He always obeyed. Disobedience meant death. The battle begins. At dawn, artillery exploded. Earth flew into the air. Buildings collapsed. Men ran. Men fell. Smoke erased the horizon. Ivan's unit advanced through the ruins, step by step. Gunfire echoed endlessly. Suddenly, shots came from a farmhouse. Enemy position. Ivan raised his rifle. "Cover me!" he shouted. He ran forward, face to face. Inside the farmhouse, chaos ruled. Bullets shattered wood. Dust filled lungs. Mikhail fired blindly. Then he heard footsteps. Close. Too close. He turned and saw him. A Soviet sergeant, blood on his face, familiar eyes. For a fraction of a second, time stopped. They stared. Recognition flashed. "Ivan?" Mikhail whispered. Ivan froze. The voice pierced him. "Misha?" Brothers, separated by war, united by horror. The shot. A German soldier appeared behind Ivan, raised his weapon. Instinct moved faster than thought. Mikhail fired. Bang. The German fell. Ivan survived. But other shots followed. Chaos returned. Smoke swallowed everything. They were pulled apart again, without a word, without an explanation, without forgiveness. Aftermath. Ivan collapsed behind a wall. His heart pounded. His hands shook uncontrollably. "That was him," he whispered. "Alive. Enemy. Brother." Mikhail ran until his lungs burned. Tears froze on his cheeks. He had saved Ivan, but betrayed everything else. Both knew. Next time, there might not be mercy. Two brothers, one moment of truth, and a war that refused them to be human.
3 days after the battle, Ivan was summoned to headquarters. The bunkers smelled of smoke and damp earth. Maps covered the walls. Voices were low, serious, deadly. A colonel pointed at a location. "Enemy collaborators hiding here," he said. "Russian traitors working with Germans." Ivan's jaw tightened. "Your unit will eliminate them. No hesitation, no mercy." The target. The location was a forest camp, temporary barracks, guarded lightly. Easy mission. Too easy. When Ivan saw the photograph, his blood froze. A thin man, hollow cheeks, familiar eyes. Mikhail, alive, listed as enemy collaborator. Ivan said nothing, saluted, left. Inside, everything collapsed. Mikhail's plan. Meanwhile, Mikhail was preparing to run. He had contacted a partisan group. They promised help, escape, new identity, redemption. Tonight, one chance, one mistake equals execution. He packed nothing, only courage and regret. The night operation. Snow fell silently. Ivan's squad moved through trees. Black shadows, no sound. They surrounded the camp. Signal given. Attack. Gunfire erupted. Screams filled the night. Barracks burned. Men ran. Some fell. Some begged. No one listened. Brothers again. Ivan entered a small hut. A candle flickered. Inside stood Mikhail, unarmed, frozen. "I knew you would come," Mikhail said. Ivan aimed his rifle, hands shaking. "You chose them," Ivan whispered. "I chose life," Mikhail replied. Silence. Only fire crackling. Outside, soldiers shouted. Time was gone. The choice. Ivan's finger tightened. One shot, promotion, honor, survival, or drop the gun, lose everything, save his brother. "Run," Ivan said quietly. Mikhail stared. "What?" "Run, now." Footsteps approached. Ivan fired, into the ceiling. Alarms, chaos, smoke. "Go!" he screamed. Mikhail ran into darkness. Consequences. Minutes later, officers arrived. Bodies everywhere. One missing. Ivan was questioned, beaten, suspected, but no proof, only suspicion. He was demoted, transferred, watched, broken, but alive. And so was Mikhail. 2 brothers, 1 betrayal, 1 salvation, and 1 final meeting still waiting.
Spring 1945. Germany was collapsing. Cities burned. Armies retreated. The war was dying, but not fast enough. Near Berlin, Soviet forces prepared for one last assault. Among them was Ivan Volkov, older, thinner, tired beyond words, demoted, ignored, forgotten, but still fighting, because stopping meant remembering. A ghost returns. One evening, a wounded soldier was brought to camp, shot in the stomach, barely breathing, wearing civilian clothes, no documents. Ivan was called to identify him. When he entered the tent, he stopped. The man on the bed opened his eyes. "Misha," Ivan whispered. Mikhail smiled weakly. "I found you," he said, then fainted. Confession. Doctors worked through the night. Mikhail survived. Barely. When he woke, Ivan was beside him. For hours they spoke. About the camp, about fear, about shame, about choices. "I never stopped being your brother," Mikhail said. "I just stopped being brave." Ivan held his hand. "I stopped being kind," he replied. Both had paid. The last mission. Days later, volunteers were requested. A suicide assault. Break German defenses, clear the way. Few would return. Ivan signed immediately. Mikhail tried to stop him. "Don't," he begged. "This war already took everything." Ivan smiled. "It didn't take you." Redemption. At dawn, the attack began. Machine guns roared. Men fell. Explosions ripped through lines. Ivan ran forward. Hit. Still ran. Closer. Closer. Then, a grenade. Thrown toward his squad. Ivan jumped. Covered it. Explosion. Silence. After. When the smoke cleared, the path was open. The assault succeeded. Berlin fell days later. The war ended. Ivan Volkov was listed as Hero of the Soviet Union, posthumously. Epilogue. Years later, in a quiet village, Mikhail stood before a grave. "I lived because you died," he whispered. He became a teacher, told children about peace, about choices, about brothers. And every year, on May 9th, he placed 2 flowers, one for Ivan, one for the boy he used to be. 2 brothers, 2 paths, 1 sacrifice, 1 memory, and a war that never truly ended.